I am Wilhelm Helsingius, and I have psychology and cognitive psychotherapy degrees. Welcome to episode 4 of the Love Unconditionally handbook. In this section, we explore how you can begin to choose what you feel by choosing what you think. Your thoughts shape your well-being. No one else, and nothing outside of yourself, causes your feelings. They arise from your own thoughts. Your feelings are, to a very large extent, your body's reaction to what you think. Could you try to believe that? Take a moment and really feel into it. How would your life change if you fully accepted that it's true? That your feelings don't come from others, but from how you interpret and think about things? The way you think about yourself, about what happens to you, and about others, it shapes your well-being in deep and powerful ways. So when you choose your attitude, and become more aware of how you think, you take responsibility for how you feel and your well-being. And when you stop placing blame on others for what you feel or don't feel, you take a profound step toward personal growth. You begin building a foundation for real well-being and a better life quality. Even when your mind is shouting that someone else caused your feelings, pause. Gently remind yourself, that's not the whole truth. And maybe it's not true at all. Of course, it's not as simple as saying that only our current thoughts determine how we feel. Our brain doesn't work that way. The brain is constantly trying to predict what might happen next. And in doing so, it draws from memory, from all our past experiences. Which means our history plays a powerful role in how we react. But even so, we can influence what our brain bases its guesses on, by processing our memories and associations. And most importantly, we can change how we relate to what our brain stirs up inside us. This absolutely does not take away our ability to choose how we actually react and function. And through that, what we will eventually come to feel. When we begin to see our own responsibility in how we think or relate, we can also begin to take deeper responsibility for how we relate to our own emotions and to the emotions of those around us. The point is not to control what we feel, or to force ourselves to only feel what we want to feel. The point is to grow in awareness, to gently choose thoughts, perspectives, and attitudes that support our well-being, rather than being constantly led by our emotions and thoughts, as if we had no say at all. Many struggle emotionally not because of what others do, but because they avoid feeling their feelings, or try to control someone else's. The more you allow both your own and others' feelings to exist, the better you tend to feel, so long as you're not in actual danger. Trying to control others is like trying to stop a river with your bare hands. It only drains you, and usually hurts both of you. Can you pause and consider that your well-being might be directly connected to how you think about yourself, others, and your relationship to them? Taking responsibility for your inner dialogue. You can influence how you feel by choosing how you relate to yourself, to others, and to what happens. Next time you're with someone, friend, colleague, partner, try this. Think something positive. Pause here for a moment. Did anything in you react? Maybe it was the idea of choosing a positive thought on purpose. Some people dedicate entire practices to this, focusing on positive thinking. It can feel soothing at first, like you're doing something good. But if your positive thinking feels forced, or if you push positivity onto someone who's in pain, it can become a burden. Sometimes even a form of bullying. If all you can offer is surface-level positivity, silence might be kinder. But if you want to feel something deeper, true joy, real connection, healing emotion, then choose to think thoughts that are caring, open-hearted, and genuine. The power of loving thought. At your core, you are an empathetic and caring being. When you care genuinely, even in your thoughts, something shifts. Wishing for someone to receive what they truly need invites gratitude into your own body. That wish alone creates connection, one of your deepest human needs. And here is something interesting, something we so easily overlook. Your body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when you imagine someone receiving what they truly need, you can feel the same warmth as if you saw it with your own eyes. The same is true for yourself. If you imagine being met with love or receiving what you long for, your nervous system responds with gratitude. Your whole being softens. But here's the key. It must be sincere. Not forced. Not a performance. When you sit with someone, friend, partner, colleague, and you wonder, what might it be like to be them? When you silently wish them well. When you're curious about what they might need. Your body registers it. You may even feel a shift physically. That moment stands in contrast to being self-focused, or acting kindly out of politeness only. The most powerful impact often happens in the most challenging moments. To put it another way, when you choose to offer your caring attention and genuine compassion, even when you're tired, or when you're hurting, or when the other person isn't giving you what you long for. It's in those moments, maybe especially in those moments, something good and healing can emerge. Something that doesn't just support the other person, but also brings satisfaction, bliss, and loving kindness to your own inner world. You're going to feel something pleasant, feel better, and more grounded. Because you stayed connected to something deeper, something that is more true within you. Something that cares unconditionally, even when it's not easy. And what about yourself? In difficulty, in self-doubt, in hurt, can you treat yourself the way you might treat someone else you care about? Can you notice how your emotions shift depending on how you think about yourself? Instead of judging or demanding, can you try to meet yourself with gentleness? You're allowed to. And if that feels far away, don't worry. We'll return to this in the section on compassion. If you're still feeling skeptical and thinking that feelings just come and go, and that you can't really influence them, or that your thoughts don't have any real impact on how you feel, I'd like to invite you to try a small exercise. If I may ask you once again to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and gently out through your mouth. And when you begin to feel a bit more present, when your thoughts and your body have settled just a little, bring to mind your favorite dish. Can you see it in front of you? What does it look like? How does it smell? What kinds of associations and thoughts come up when you think of this delicious food? And what feelings do you feel? How does your body react? Lovely, isn't it? Now, look a little closer at your favorite dish. Do you see that? Something's moving. Really, something long, like a finger. It's squirming. And slimy. How does that feel in your body, now that you've seen the worm in your favorite food? What feelings and associations are coming up? What do you feel in your body? Can you describe that honestly? Compare that to how you felt, in your body, and overall, just moments before you noticed the worm. Do you notice it? Do you notice the dramatic difference your thoughts can make? At first, your brain was preparing for something very pleasant, and your body felt safe and calm, a state that supports your health. But the moment you imagined a worm in your food, your body shifted into discomfort, disgust, alarm, and stress. That simple mental image shows just how deeply your thoughts can affect your body and your whole being. The impact is just as real when you imagine something going wrong, when you worry, stress, try to control a situation or another person, or when you interpret someone's words or actions in a way that feels bad or threatening to you. The same thing happens when you think or ruminate on something painful that happened long ago or something you imagine in the future. Because to your brain and your body, there's no real difference. It doesn't matter whether it's happening now, happened before, or will never happen at all. What your brain and body respond to is what you think. That's what feels real to them. It's actually impossible to just for fun think a stressful, negative or worrying thought without it affecting your body in a negative way. And this applies both to what is good for you and to what is not. You can't separate your thoughts from your body. They are deeply connected, just as we are all deeply connected to one another. So you can't think something negative about someone else and believe it won't affect you, just because the person you're thinking about isn't you. Can you see how easily you can either allow yourself and your body to feel well, by giving your system access to calming and health-promoting hormones, or instead expose yourself to one of the most harmful states we know, stress and stress hormones, a kind of internal poisoning that harms your health and shortens your life? Do you notice that your body doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happening, or something you're just imagining in your mind? Do you see now how deeply your thoughts can shape how you feel, simply by choosing what and how you think? I can't know how sensitive you are to noticing the difference, or how strong the effect is on your health, but the effect is there, whether you notice it or not, no matter what your thoughts or your ego might say. One important factor when it comes to how your way of thinking affects your health is, of course, how often you think certain thoughts, and for how long your body and your well-being are exposed to them. Do you now see your responsibility concerning your thoughts? I hope you can see how important this is, especially when it comes to your well-being, stress levels, and feelings, compared to the idea that it's your surroundings, or what others say or do, that causes how you feel and how you're doing. Let's now return to something a little more pleasant. Love heals. Criticism builds distance and barriers. And your thoughts are at the steering wheel. No one else can choose for you. You are free, but your freedom comes with a responsibility. You are responsible for how you think. Because how you think creates how you feel. And how you feel shapes how you live and the state of your health. Even if someone is unkind or even hurt you, your emotions still begin with your own thoughts, about yourself, about them, and about what happened. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it returns your power to where it belongs. Can you begin to observe your inner world? The way a bird watcher observes a tree? With stillness. With curiosity. Without judgment. Watch how quickly your thoughts blame, defend, explain, or accuse. Watch how your ego tries to prove that someone else is the reason you hurt or that you feel what you do not want to feel. And then ask yourself, what if I could think something more loving? Have more compassion and understanding? What if I could respond in a way that brings me closer to who I really am? When you meet yourself and others with compassion and love, your body releases what heals. When your thoughts are harsh or fearful, your body tenses, preparing for harm. This is not just psychological. It's also biological. Every thought you choose shapes your chemistry, your hormones, your tension, your sense of safety or openness. Meeting life as it is. How do you respond when something happens that your thoughts or ego didn't want to happen? How do you treat yourself in those moments when things didn't go as planned? Or when someone did something you didn't expect? Notice what happens in your mind. Notice how you relate to the event, to yourself, to the other. Is there blame? Tension? A subtle urge to control or resist? Maybe your thoughts paint you as a victim. Maybe your ego tightens its grip. Choosing response over reaction. What would happen if you chose how you wanted to feel, even when life doesn't go your way? What if you gently guided your thoughts toward understanding, care, acceptance, and inner steadiness? This doesn't mean approving of hurtful things. It means not adding extra pain through inner resistance or harshness toward yourself or others. Most suffering isn't caused by what happens. It's caused by how we resist what happens and what we actually feel, and how we treat ourselves in the middle of it. So if you choose to meet life with a spirit of acceptance, let it come from your heart. Not because you should, because it frees you. The quality of your inner life is shaped by the thoughts you nurture, the stories you repeat, and the posture you take toward yourself and others. You are not at the mercy of everyone else's behavior. Even if someone acts carelessly, they are not the ultimate cause of how you feel. Your thoughts are what shape your emotional world. That might be a difficult truth, but it's also a liberating one. What happens when you stop waiting for others to act differently, and instead choose to offer what's needed from a part of you that grows and expands inside you when you use it? There's a quiet but beautiful strength in giving something. Not because it will be returned, but because the other is human and worthy. William Arthur Ward said, "When we seek to discover the best in others, we somehow bring out the best in ourselves." Can you be with it? Let it settle. May I say those golden words again? When we seek to discover the best in others, we somehow bring out the best in ourselves. It's easy to be kind when others are kind to you. But the real shift happens when you offer love or care even when someone doesn't seem to deserve it. That's where transformation lives. And here's the paradox that I mentioned in the previous section. When you give something good to someone else, even when your ego resists, you are also giving it to yourself. And you will likely grow from it, because deep down, we all need more or less the same things. So when you offer someone what they need, you often touch parts of yourself that you once had to hide away. And in that very moment, you become who you truly are. Not the version your fear, your ego, or your pain tries to convince you to be. If you give only to get something in return, you'll likely feel disappointed. Because expectation builds walls. But when you give from the heart, you open a path within. A space that lets you breathe and be who you really are and have always been. And as a gift to yourself, you place your whole being, both body and mind, in a state that supports your well-being. Even if the other person can't receive it right now, you can still celebrate it. Still find joy in it. Because you're no longer tied to how things should unfold, or how someone should respond. That is the power of unconditional giving. It lifts and nourishes both the one who gives and the one who receives, even if only one of you knows it happened. The superpower you already have. Why does kindness matter most when your ego insists someone doesn't deserve it? Why does it feel so powerful to love right where it's hardest? Because that's where your true self meets the world. When your thoughts say, "They don't deserve this. Not after how they treated me," you're standing at a crossroads. And if you still choose love, not submission, not silence, but love, you rise. You give something not just to them, but to yourself. You meet the part of you that's bigger than the wound. What holds you back? What stops you from using this superpower? Is it fear? Envy? The quiet belief that because you haven't received everything you needed, you shouldn't have to give to others. These thoughts are echoes of old pain. And they make sense. But they don't lead where you long to go. You are not smaller for giving. You are more yourself when you do. It's time for practice. 1. Can you take a pause and observe your thoughts? You can begin to see your thoughts as something you have, not something you are. Not something that controls you, but something you can meet, use, choose, and guide. Try this. Give yourself permission to stop for a little while. Notice what you're thinking and how you're thinking it, without trying to change anything. Just notice your thoughts. You might say to yourself, "These are thoughts I'm having. They are not the whole truth." Then feel into your body. How do these thoughts affect you, physically? A question to carry with you. How do my feelings shift depending on how I interpret what's happening, or depending on the thoughts I'm thinking? 2. The power of perspective. To explore how the same situation can feel completely different, depending on how you think about it. Try this. Think of a moment that made you feel uneasy or upset. Write down what you were thinking about it. Then, write a new perspective of a way of thinking that is more understanding, accepting, or caring. Now compare, how do your feelings and sensations shift in your body when you hold the second thought instead of the first? A question to carry with you. Which way of thinking helps me live more in line with the person I long to be? And helps me feel more of the emotions I want to welcome into my life? 3. Inner kindness, care for another. to strengthen your natural ability to feel connected and caring. Try this. Think of someone you're about to see, or someone you've seen recently. In your mind, say genuinely to them, "I hope you receive what you need." Or, "I hope you feel seen, heard, and understood today." Then pause and notice what happens inside you. A question to carry with you. What stirs in me when I silently wish someone else well, even if I do not say it out loud? 4. Turn that care also toward yourself. To meet yourself with the same kindness you offer to others. Try this. The next time you catch yourself judging yourself, pause. Ask, would I say this to someone I love? What would I say to someone I deeply care about in this exact moment? Then try saying to yourself, this is hard for me right now, and that's okay. I'm allowed to feel and need exactly what I feel and need. No matter what my thoughts say, I don't need to be so hard on myself. I am worthy of all the love in the world simply because of who I am, completely independent of what my thoughts try to claim. A question to carry with you. How does my experience shift when I meet myself with understanding, instead of with pressure or demands? 5. When thoughts want to take over, I have a choice. To create a space between thought and action. A place of freedom and a choice. Try this. The next time you feel a strong urge to react, pause. Do nothing. Just be with yourself. Acknowledge the part of you that wants to act. Acknowledge how hard it is not to follow your thoughts' demands. Then ask gently, what are my thoughts really saying right now? Are they concerned with what truly helps me live a good life? What do I actually want to feel in this moment? How do I want to act in a way that reflects who I want to be? Now, choose a thought that supports that feeling, that way of being, those values, that response. Examples. Initial thoughts. He never listens to me. How can he say that? This should not be happening. Conscious responses. The way they react likely reflects something they're carrying inside, a feeling or a need. I'm not in danger. We're both allowed to feel what we feel and need what we need. My thoughts want to label this as good or bad, but only life itself can show me what it truly is. As I mentioned earlier, there are only two ways to meet the world. With fear or with love? Your thoughts may protest. That's too simple. You don't understand my situation. It's not that easy. Skepticism is just part of the journey. But love doesn't mean letting everything pass. Love can also say no. Love can set boundaries. Boundaries are not the opposite of love. They are love when done with clarity, compassion, and care. Firm, not forceful. Rooted, not reactive. Fear is just a thought. Unless there is immediate physical danger. Most fear is a construction, a message shaped by your thoughts. And often, by your ego's desire to keep you from growing. The voice of fear. Stay small. Protect what you know. Don't risk feeling or giving more. But love says, you're safe enough to open and trust. You're strong enough to be able to. You're ready and worthy. No matter what you work through in therapy, in relationships, or within yourself, the deepest healing begins when you choose to love unconditionally. Not because you've sold everything. Not because it's easy. But because you dare. You don't heal by analyzing alone. You heal by allowing love to reach the place that once felt unlovable. That's where the real shift happens. You can even explore how much your psychotherapy has helped by noticing how unconditionally you're able to love. When you offer love, without waiting for it to be returned, you become who you are meant to be. And the more you offer it, consistently, genuinely, and wholeheartedly, the stronger it grows within you. As Dalai Lama once said, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Thank you for listening to part 4 of this handbook. In the next section, we'll continue exploring human relationships. This time with a focus on the theme of shame. If this touched something in you or felt helpful, you're warmly invited to support by liking or sharing it with someone who might need it too.